Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 5th December 2024. So let's get started with our discussion, and there are many articles in our newspaper which are relevant from our both mains and prelims point of view today. So let us see all those dimensions, and I will be also giving you some questions so that you can analyze that type of questions and you can prepare in that way so that there will be a very high chance of clearing your prelims. And even I am providing you the daily current affairs quiz based on the topics that I am discussing in the class. So here, if you don't have our app in your mobile, so please download our Rathods app. There we are providing free current affairs quiz. Okay, let us see the first article, guys. See here. India backs United Nations resolution calling on Israel to leave Palestine. So what is this article talking about? It is talking about which issue? Israel-Palestine issue, right? Okay, the key word in this article is Israel-Palestine issue. So where is this Israel and Palestine are located? In which area? Is it comes under Asia or Africa? It comes under obviously Asia. At which part? West Asia. Okay, so actually here India is changing foreign policy towards this Israel-Palestine issue. And now here recently United Nations resolution had been passed regarding Israel need to leave the places of Palestine. So Israel occupied many places in this Palestine. Now the resolution which passed, and this resolution is saying that Israel needs to leave these places which had been occupied by Israel. And for this resolution India supported. India supported this resolution of leaving of Palestine occupied areas of Israel. So this article is important from your GS paper 2, which comes under international relations. So actually you have to see one more key thing here is two nation theory. Okay, so now in this United Nations resolution which says that Israel need to leave the areas which had been occupied, and we have to go for establishment of two-state theory. And there is a high chance of getting question regarding this two-state theory. Here you have to see what is this two-state theory is about, and next you have to see what are the challenges present behind the implementation of this two-state theory or two-nation theory. So these are very, very important. Okay, now let us see the context. It says that India voted in favor of United Nations resolution calling for Israel withdrawal from Palestinian territories, so which had been occupied not only in the recent past, from 1967 onwards. So whichever the places which had been occupied by Israel, they have to be given back. So this is about this United Nations resolution. And this resolution which is also focusing on emphasizing the rights of this Palestinian people, and it's also talking about implementation of this two-state solution. And it had been supported by now 157 nations and adopted by United Nations General Assembly now. It also called Israel withdrawal from occupied Syrian Golan Heights. So actually there is one important location called as Golan Heights in Syria. So this area had been occupied by Israel, and this resolution is talking about Israel have to leave these Palestinian places and as well as Syrian Golan Heights places as well. So there are three important things which are said. The first one is United Nations resolution. Second one is two nation or two state solution or two state theory, whatever it is, you can tell about that. And next one is you have to see about the location of this Golan Heights of Syria. So these three things which are said in this article. So first let us analyze one by one point here. So India is supporting for this resolution, and it mainly reflects long-standing commitment to Palestinian cause. And even we are especially in alignment with our broader international sentiments advocating for Palestinian rights. So whenever India is supporting such kind of United Nations resolution, so we want to resolve this conflict. and we want to protect the rights of these Palestinians. And next one here is how many countries are supporting this United Nations resolution? That is 157 countries. That means we can see many countries, they are trying to provide solution for this problem. So we can understand that there is a very strong global consensus on the need for the peaceful resolution of this Israel-Palestine. And next one here is, in this resolution, they're also focusing on two-state solution. That means we need to establish peace and as well as security in this region. So what is this two-state solution? It is nothing but it is a proposed resolution to this Israel-Palestine conflict, and they are focusing on establishment of two separate states or nations. First one is Israel and second one is Palestinian. And they have to live side by side in peace and security. So this is the concept of two-state solution. And what are the measures can be taken? So how can we achieve this solution? So first one is, what are the areas which had been occupied by Israel that had to be given back, so that then only we can go for establishment of these two nations. So first one here is, we need to halt settlements expansion. So Israel should halt this settlement expansion in West Bank so that we can ensure confidence building measure, and we can address the issue, okay, so that we can go for genuine commitment to peace. And second important way forward here is, we can engage regional powers, not only Israel and Palestine. So there are many nearby nations which are playing a very important role in this issue, like Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. They have to play an important role in supporting peace, and as well as they have to involve in negotiations, and it will be helpful for normalizing the relations between Israel and as well as Arab states. And this one is, we have to ensure ceasefire and as well as confidence building measures. So can you tell me the recent ceasefire agreement between these two countries? Which country had been brokered this? So that too ceasefire for how many days? 60 days of ceasefire which had been brokered by US. Okay, so here when we are ensuring, whenever there is a ceasefire and as well as whenever international, that means different countries are providing this confidence building measure, then we can decrease the violence in this region. So whenever we are decreasing this violence, then what happen? We can take some confidence building measures, like these two states, they have to bring confidence in them. For example, we can go for releasing of prisoners of the both the sides, and next one is, we can provide some humanitarian aid, and even these two nations, they can go for ensuring of economic activities like that. So whenever we are building the confidence in these two states, obviously we can decrease violence between these two nations. And next one is, even we have to take some people to people initiatives, like we can encourage civil society organizations and as well as NGOs, and as well as we can go for cultural exchanges, we can go for educational programs, etc., so that we can understand and we can build the bridges between these two people belongs to these two states. And here you have to think about what are the challenges we have. Okay, let us see this article. So 5.3 magnitude earthquake jolts Telangana's Mulku. So actually in the recent past, from last 4 to 5 months, it is the second time where the earthquake which happened in state of Telangana. Okay, so actually the keyword here is earthquake. So earthquake, it is a concept that you can see directly in your UPSC syllabus. So in which subject you can see this topic of earthquake? Other than geography, disaster management. Directly if you open your syllabus, you can see this word earthquake. So whenever you are seeing any terminology which is present in your syllabus, and if you see the same in the newspaper, don't leave that article. You have to go to your basics at least or static syllabus and revise that topic. Okay, earthquake you will be seeing in your GS paper 1 under geography. So whether it comes under Indian geography or world geography. So it is a concept you can see in the world geography. Apart from that, you will be seeing in GS paper 3 under disaster management. So here you will be seeing from only India perspective. So Indian perspective you will be seeing in this disaster management, which comes under GS paper 3. And even you can get a case study from GS paper 4 under ethics. If you are a district magistrate, If your district had been affected by earthquake, so what are the steps that you will be taking? Like what are the preventive steps, or they may ask like during disaster steps, or like post disaster, this reconstruction and the rebuilding process. Okay, so what are the things that you have to see? What is the meaning of earthquake? Please let me know. Earthquake, what happens during earthquake? Shaking of earth surface. So during this process, what happens? Which waves? Energy will be released in the form of waves. So which kind of waves that you can see? Two types of waves. What are those two types of waves? Body waves. Next one is surface waves. Okay, types of body waves, two types. P wave and S wave. P is nothing but primary and S is secondary. So why we named this body waves as primary and secondary? What is the main difference between these two? Why it is called as primary and why second type is called as secondary? What is the difference? Okay, so it is based on the time. So P waves will be reaching very fast compared to that of secondary waves. So can you tell me P wave is example of which kind of wave? Longitudinal or transverse? Longitudinal or transverse? So in which kind of waves we can see compressions and rarefactions, and in which type of wave we can see crest and drift? I gave you hint. Primary is rare fractions and compressions, and secondary is crest and troughs. Now tell me which is transverse and which is longitudinal. Okay. And tell me examples or the types of the surface waves. How many types? Two types. What are they? Love wave and Rayleigh waves. So which is dangerous in these two? Body or surface waves? Dangerous. Surface waves. Surface waves causes huge destruction. Body waves will not cause any destruction. These love waves and Rayleigh waves are responsible for shaking of buildings and collapsing of buildings. So because of this waves, because of this collapsing of buildings or anything, that will lead to huge amount of damage. Damage will causes because of the surface waves. Okay, tell me one more difference between this primary and secondary wave about shadow region. What is this shadow region? Shadow region. Not exactly shadow region. Yes, no waves will be tracked in that region. It is called as shadow region. Shadow is nothing but nothing is seen. Okay, so here in these two kinds of waves, that is primary and secondary, in which waves we can see more shadow region? Shadow region is more in S. Can you tell me the number? 1. Okay, tell me why this primary waves is having less shadow region compared to secondary. Okay, they travel in all mediums. So why we have to see about different mediums here? Oh. So if you see the layers of earth, how many layers we have? Crust, mantle and core. So in this core again, outer core, next one is inner core. So tell me the composition. So crust is made up of Sial. Yes. Next mantle, Sima. And core, Nife. So crust is solid in nature, mantle is solid in nature, so outer core is liquid in nature. So because of this, whenever waves moving from one medium to another medium, there will be the bending of waves. That concept is called as refraction. So because of this refraction, we can see shadow region. So shadow region of this S is more compared to that of primary, because these secondary waves will not move in liquids or cannot pass in liquids. Okay, so now let us talk about parts of earthquake. Okay, so whenever earthquake is happening, for example, this area, whenever this exactly the shaking of earth happens, so what is that point is called as? Focus or hypocenter? Ah, focus or hypocenter. So exactly this point on the surface of Earth is called as what? What is focus and what is hypocenter? What is this yellow point? Okay, tell me what is this point? Where exactly this earthquake starts? Focus. Exactly on this surface? Hypocenter? Hypocenter or focus? Again confusion, 50-50%. 50-50%. How many days happened? When did you open your geography book? 4 months back. Very good. Okay, see those all those things. Okay, so here tell me in disaster management, as I said, you will be saying about only India point of view. There you will be focusing on earthquake zones. So tell me how many earthquake zones are present in India right now? 5 or 4? Not 5. 4. How many earthquake zones? Four earthquake zones, not 5. Okay, so tell me about vulnerability of India to these earthquakes. In which part of our country we have more earthquakes? Himalayas, northeast. So stable region, Western Ghats, stable region compared to the. What about Telangana? Telangana comes in zone 5, zone 2 and zone 3. Okay, so why there is increasing of incidents in this region now? Huh? Godavari? Come on, tell me what are the reasons why there is increasing of incidents in the zone 2 and zone 3 area of Telangana? Huh? Moving of minor plate. Can you tell me the name of that plate? Indo-Australia, it is an entirely a single plate. So can you divide that entire Indo-Australian plate into different plates? Okay, tell me what is the reason of causing earthquake? Causes of earthquake. Okay, plate movements. Apart from that, volcanic eruptions. Okay, next. Uh, Anthropogenic. So can you tell me examples of anthropogenic causes? Anthropogenic is nothing but man-made. So what are the man-made causes of this earthquake? Open cast mining. Hydra. Next. Dam construction is also one important cause of earthquake. Yes. Next. Sand mining. So how the sand mining causes earthquake? Hmm? You have to revise. Next, see here, earthquake zones in India. So according to BIS, that is Bureau of Indian Standards, India is divided into 4 seismic zones based on the level of seismic hazard. So if you see the data of earthquake vulnerability of India, 11% of country is present in zone 5. That means very high vulnerable region. And 18% is present in zone 4, 30% in zone 3 and rest in zone 2. So can you tell me like which are the zones, which are the areas which are present in this zone 5? It is very high, seismic activity is very high here, and even if there is any earthquake, even there is very high risk damage will also happens in this region, especially Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, that Himalayan belt is comes under that. Even Andaman and Nicobar Island is also very vulnerable. And this one is zone 4. Zone 4 also like high damage risk, but it is less than compared to that of zone 5, and it comes below to this Himalayan zone. Okay, and even western part of Rajasthan and as well as Maharashtra and some parts of Gujarat can be added in this zone 4. And the zone 3 we have moderate damage risk in states of Kerala, Goa, Lakshadweep Islands and some parts of Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, and very small portion of Gujarat, Punjab. So you can draw just a map. And actually Telangana comes under this zone 3 and as well as zone 2. Zone 3 and as well as zone 2. Okay, see this article. Panel seeks timely action to curb illegal discharge of waste into Ashtamudi Lake. So what is the keyword in this article? Ashtamudi Lake. What is happening here? Illegal discharge of waste. Is it good for environment whenever we are discharging waste into the water body? No. So can you connect, what can you see here? Plastic. Yes or no? Can we connect with the recent plastic treaty, which is in which area? Busan in South Korea. So can we connect that whatever the plastic treaty we are going to have now, is it relevant from India point of view also? Because most of the water bodies which are present in India, especially lakes and as well as rivers, they got polluted with this plastic. Will you agree? Yes, right? So many of you will agree that most of our water bodies are already polluted with the plastic. And if you are signing that kind of treaty, at least we will be taking some steps to clean that or to make our environment safe from this pollution. Okay, so this article is talking about Ashtamudi Lake. So tell me in which state we have this Ashtamudi Lake? Okay, Ashtamudi Lake is in Kerala. So can you tell me about different types of lakes we have? Natural lake and artificial lake. So apart from that, any classification that we make under this natural lakes based on the formation? Oxbow Lake next, tectonic lakes, for example, Lonar Lake, volcanic lakes next, meanders. Meanders are nothing but not lakes. That comes in Oxbow Lake. Okay, so here this article is talking about pollution. So what happens if there is pollution in these lakes or water bodies? Tell me what is the impact? It will be having negative impact on environment. So under this environment, please tell me at least 3 to 4 points. Under environment, how it is impacting? Pollution. Okay, threat to aquatic biodiversity. Okay, next. Bioaccumulation, or like I can also add biomagnification here. Next. I am asking about lake. I'm not going for corals. Next. Pollution. Okay, can I say that whenever there is increasing of pollution, there will be increasing of algae, right? So whenever there is increasing of algae, that condition is called as algal blooms. So what is the reason behind this algal blooms? So if you go to any lake or if you're going or if you're traveling anywhere, so you can see water bodies which are very much green. That is nothing but algal blooms. Why these algal blooms happen? So what is the reason behind these algal blooms? Not stagnated water. There is increased nitrogen and phosphorus in that, so that it is contributed for more growth of algae. That is called as algal blooms. So this algal blooms is very, very dangerous because it will be increasing BOD and COD. What is BOD and COD? What is the full form of this BOD? Biological oxygen demand. What is this biological oxygen demand? COD, chemical oxygen demand. What is this? Increasing of BOD. That means if you want to break down that, we need more amount of oxygen. That is called as BOD. Whenever there is increasing of BOD or increasing of COD, it says that it requires more amount of oxygen for disintegrating that to make into fresh water. Okay, so this is the thing that you can write from environment. From economy point of view, what are the impacts that you can say? From economy point of view, what are the impacts? So because of pollution, how the economic activities will be getting affected? So which economic activities related to this water? Fishing or fish farming or aquaculture. So what happens for this fisherman? Fisherman income will be increased or decreased? Decreased, because the fish will be getting affected because of this algal blooms. And next, how polluted water cannot be diverted to agriculture. Next, Local economy will be getting affected, especially whenever we are having any rivers or lakes. Most of the people's livelihood is based on this fishing, aquaculture, prawns culture, etc. So that will be getting affected. Overall, local economic activities will be getting affected. Apart from that, can we add any impact on society? What will be the impact on society? So if their income is getting low, they have to divert it into another livelihood opportunities. So for that, now people will starting moving from that area towards another area. Again, migration will lead to more socio-economic problems. If they're not having skills, what happens? Do they get proper employment opportunities? No. So in that way, if you are seeing anything, try to think in different subjects point of view. I'm not asking you to think out of our syllabus. So you can take from polity point of view what is impact, from economy point of view what is impact, from security point of view what is impact. So society, the part is very useful, like wherever, whichever answer you're writing, you can use the society. You can use geography, economy, environment. So like that, if you try to frame at least 3 to 4 points with examples under each section, then your work is done. That is for your means, okay? Yeah, let us see this article. The state level monitoring committee, that is SLMC in Kerala, has called for urgent action to address illegal discharge of bio waste. What is the meaning of bio waste? Examples of bio waste. Bio means which is having life. So waste from life, examples. Bio waste example. Can I call dung as a bio waste? Next, sewage treatment, sewage water, bio waste. Next, what are the water we are using in our domestic, like grey water, like for example cleaning of utensils, washing clothes, everything which comes under bio waste. Next, if you go to chicken shop, we will be having lot of waste after the end of the day. If you go to, especially on Sunday, so you will be collecting bundles of waste. That also comes under bio waste. If you go to any hospital, what are the waste that is collected there? Like blood, like any organs. Obviously, that will comes under bio waste. So this article is saying that there is illegal discharge of bio waste into Ashtamudi Lake. So what happens if they are dumping bio waste in this region? Is that good for aquatic animals? So if people knows, for example, if you went to a fish market, you want to buy a fish. So there fisherman said that we bought that fish from Ashtamudi Lake where this fish were fed on the bio waste. Will you buy that fish? Yes or no? Will you buy that after knowing the truth that those fish had been fed on bio waste? No, right? So this is the problem now. So actually there is illegal discharge of bio waste in this Ashtamudi Lake, which led to environmental issues like excessive algal blooms. Because as you know, each and every cell is having carbon and as well as nitrogen. So where this nitrogen is there, nitrogen and phosphorus, okay. So let us see here. So as I said, algal blooms, why? Because of increasing of nitrogen and phosphorus. So if you see the biology or any organism or any tissue, the basic part here is cell. We have the basic fundamental unit is called as cell. In that cell, what we have? Cell organelles. One important cell organelle is nucleus. So what is there in our nucleus? Yes, chromosome. So what is a chromosome? Chromosome is nothing but the condensed part of DNA. Okay, so I have to teach that concept also. For example, let us take this is nucleus. In this nucleus, we have this condensed part that is called as DNA. So DNA, it is nothing but it is a double helical structure. So whenever it is single line, it is called as DNA. Whenever it is compacted, that is called as chromatin. And this chromatin which forms chromosome. So this is the chromosome. So in this we have two chromatids. So chromosome is nothing but the condensed part of your DNA. So DNA contains what? Not genetics. Which are the bases that we have? A, U, C, G. Have you heard this? They are nothing but nitrogenous bases which have nitrogen and as well as phosphate. So as I said, because of this bio waste, what happened in that cell? We have this nitrogen phosphorus. Whenever it is mixed in water, the water will be becoming very rich in nitrogen phosphorus. That is leading to this algal blooms. So because of this algal blooms, there is pollution in that water. So whenever there is pollution, mass fish killing is happening. Okay, so this is the problem happening in Ashtamudi Lake. So this committee is saying that we have to go for sewage treatment and we have to go for better regulation of waste collection so that we can mitigate this pollution. Okay, so this article is saying that illegal discharge of this bio waste into this Ashtamudi Lake, it is resulted in significant ecological damage because we are having an evidence of algal bloom. So algal bloom which happens whenever there is increased nitrogen phosphorus concentration in the water. And even there is increased fish fatalities. That means dying of fishes had been increased in this region. And it is saying that we need to take some urgent steps for environmental protection measures. And even this committee is recommending that we have to go for proper enforcement. Enforcement is nothing but punishment if anyone who is violating the rules and regulations. And this one is we have to go for even improvement of infrastructure for proper sewage treatment. Okay, so whenever they are directly releasing this drainage water into that lake, what happened? Obviously, it is also coming under the bio waste. So we have to go for proper sewage treatment. We need to have good infrastructure development. And this one here is obviously if you want to take any step, community involvement is very important and community awareness is very important. And next one here is even we need to come up with a legal framework so that we can ensure environmental governance. And even we have to focus on increasing of public awareness. And we have to go for sustainable waste management practices so that we can maintain the health of our water bodies, our environment and our well-being as well. So that we can address our sustainable development goals. Okay, let us see some facts regarding this Ashtamudi Lake. So Ashtamudi Lake, it is present in state of Kerala and it is one of Ramsar wetland. Tell me what is this Ramsar wetland is about. So where is this Ramsar located place? Iran. Okay. So what is this Ramsar wetland? So why we have to place any wetland under this site, under this Ramsar wetland? So what will be the advantages? What we'll get if we are naming any lake as an Rams? Funds for what? Conservation of that. Okay, so tell me how many Ramsar wetlands are present in India as of now? Ramsar wetland sites in India. In your environment book, I saw that. 80? Exactly. Think. Which is the first Ramsar site in India? Chilika Lake, okay. Okay, so just see about these facts. Yeah, see this article. After anomaly alert, ISRO sets PROBA-3 launch for today. So what is this PROBA-3? Have you heard this? What is this PROBA-3? European Space Agency's satellite. So it is going to study what in the space? Sun. So can you tell me like any other space mission that we started regarding the study of sun in India? Aditya L1. Okay, so I had a doubt. So European Space Agency or European countries are very much developed compared to that of India. Will you accept? Will you agree? Then why India needs to launch this PROBA-3 of European Space Agency? Why don't they have this equipments to launch their own equipment? Uh, hmm? Okay, we have geographical advantage. Okay, accepted. Apart from that, so what we'll get if you are launching other countries' equipment? What we'll get? Money. Next, only money. Can we do everything for money? Prestige. Next, technology. Next, what will be the advantage for India if India is launching this? One is prestige, one is technology, one is relationship, one is money. Next. Huh? Dog? Okay, superiority. That comes at prestige only. Can we run forward in the space sector? So if we are launching a developed country satellite, so these developing and less developed countries, they will obviously come to India. So that can we increase our economic activities even in this space sector? So in that way you have to think. Okay, now let us see this article. So this is very important from your science and technology point of view and as well as from international relations. So here we are using PSLV. What is this PSLV? I have it out. Tell me. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicles. So how many stages of satellite launch vehicles are present in India? Stages. Yeah, four. First one is SLV, Satellite Launch Vehicle. Second stage is not GSLV. GSLV is last. Not PSLV. ASLV. Augmented Satellite Launch Vehicle. First one is SLV, second one is ASLV, third one is PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, and last one GSLV. So which is advanced? GSLV. But for many times I have a doubt like why we are using only polar satellite launch vehicles. So many launch things or satellite launches happen by using this PSLV, and even PSLV is called as ISRO's workhorse. Why? Are you getting my question? So many launches we did, and for many we are using PSLV only, and this PSLV is called as workhorse. Workhorse of ISRO. Why? Tell me. Okay, GSLV can be used for longer missions. Okay, next. So what about the fuel stages? How many stages of fuel are present in GSLV and PSLV? Four. Four in? Not GSLV. Yeah. In PSLV we have four stages. Can you tell me? Solid, liquid, solid and liquid. What about GSLV? Liquid, solid and one more thing. Both. Very good. Cryogenic. Have you heard this word cryogenic? What is this cryogenic? Cryogenic? Not liquid oxygen. We will be storing fuel at a very low temperature. That is called as cryogenic. So by using this or this, it will be costly. Using this cryogenic is much more costly compared to that of using this liquid and solid. So because of this reason and as well as we will be using this GSLV for only long earth orbits. So for that reason we are using this PSLV. So because of this it is called as workhorse of ISRO. Clear? Now even this mission which is also going to use PSLV C59, it is also called as PROBA-3 mission. Actually it is going to schedule on this 4 p.m. on Wednesday, but because of some technical glitches they identified, so it had been rescheduled to Thursday. Okay, so here we have to see about what is this PROBA-3. PROBA-3, it is an advanced solar mission. So who developed this? European Space Agency. So here you will be getting a question like consider the following statements regarding recent missions of ISRO. Aditya L1 is a solar mission of India. PROBA-3 mission is mission of JAXA or mission of NASA. Like that they may change. Or else you may get a question like match the following. In A they will give the names of the mission and in the B set they will give the countries. For example, Aditya L1 India or ISRO. And next one is PROBA ESA. Like that, any other recent missions of different countries in the news of 1 year, you will be getting at least 4. And they will be asking whether which pair is correct or incorrect and how many pairs are correct or incorrect. So in this way, you will be getting question, okay? And the important aim of this mission, it is to study the solar corona. What is corona? Tell me the layers of sun. Layers of sun. chromosphere, photosphere, corona. So in which layer we can see the maximum temperature of sun? Corona. So which layer is responsible for the solar winds and solar flares? Radiative zone or convective zone? Again confusion. So from now onwards, the maximum questions I will ask so that you will be at least go after this class and read this at least. Radiative zone or conductive zone? Come on. Uh, uh. Can you draw the layers of sun? Come. No? Okay, so what are the benefits for India for this mission? So we can showcase our ISRO's expertise. So whenever we are launching this PROBA-3 mission, so we can say that is what are the missions that are launched by India, they are comparatively less costly when we are compared with that of other countries. So already we discussed this point when we discussed our essay, right? So that essay class I discussed about how much cost we are spending for our space missions. It is comparatively less with other countries. And next one is we can exclusive data access. So Indian scientists, they can get privileged access to mission data so that it will be helpful for our future missions. And next one is we can also have synergy with L1. So L1 is India's project of studying sun. That is Aditya L1. So here when we are having collaboration with this PROBA-3 and India's L1, Aditya L1 mission, it will be enhancing our understanding of solar physics, and as well as we can improve our space weather predictions as well. So these are the advantages. And see this article, cut in time. Economic cost and on ban plastic must be seen with its ill effects on health. What is this article? Plastic treaty? Yes. So did India accepted this plastic treaty? What are the concerns of India? Production and as well as chemicals. Apart from this, funding and technology transfer. So actually, especially developing and as well as least developed countries, whenever they are moving away from plastic, whether it is economically viable for those countries? No. So that is a problem which is given here. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. So United Nations ambitious global plastic treaty, and this treaty is having an important aim of phasing out of plastic pollution, but this phasing out of plastic pollution is having a lot of challenges. So first one is many countries they support production cuts to tackle environmental hazards posed by plastic, but major developing countries they are resisting for decreasing of production. And next one here is even recently, you know that European Union is going to impose carbon adjustment border tax. So can it is also having impact on this plastic? Because if we are making the plastic based on this carbons or the waste of the carbon emissions, whenever we are disposing it off, again it will lead to increasing of carbon emissions. So because of this, it is also having some trade barriers as well. So here there are many discussions which had been remained very critical for the nations like India, like how we have to address this health and ecological impacts of plastics. So as you all know that recently in one study in America, they found that even in human blood we have evidences of microplastic. So we are having lots and lots of health impacts and as well as environmental and economical impacts of plastic. So here these are some important problems for developing countries like India, like how we have to cut the production. So what about climate finance? What about technology transfer? So these are all the concerns which had been raised by India in this meeting. So now let us see the key points are given in this article. The first one is United Nations Treaty represents a historic step in addressing plastic pollution, yet there are some conflicting interests of member states, like they are having a divide between environmental urgency and as well as economic dependency on plastic production. So because of using plastic, and if you are producing plastic, obviously it is having negative impact on environment, but these countries they cannot move out of it and out of this plastic because it is not environmentally or economically, these countries they will not be sustained. And next one here is they will be having health and environmental harm. So if you are going use on this plastic persistently, then it will be harming not only your ecosystem, but also it will be having direct health risk. So because of this, we need to take some immediate action despite of economic implications. And next one is the important problem here is we don't have proper finances. We don't have proper technology for proper recycling of plastics. So what are the plastics that we are going to produce? Like 700 million tons by 2046. So out of this, even we cannot recycle for 5 to 10 percentage. So entirely this plastic which had been disposed will be ending up in water bodies. So it is one important cause of concern now. So we need substantial investment and as well as innovation, that is technology, to control this plastic waste in especially developing and as well as least developed countries. Okay, that is the thing, nothing much important. Okay, see this article. India's strategic focus on West Africa. So what is the news regarding West Africa recently? West Africa. So recently, AP government seized a boat which is it is going for illegal smuggling of PDS rice to West Africa. Okay, apart from that, do you remember any recent visit of our Prime Minister to African countries? 3-nation visit, which countries he visited? Nigeria, Guyana, and one more country? Nigeria, Guyana, and tell me which is the African country there? Nigeria, Guyana. Guyana is Latin American country. Next, Nigeria is West African country. So why India wants to focus on this West Africa now? Why? After 17 years, our Prime Minister, he went to this Nigeria. So at that time, we discussed that it was like one of the historical visit because after 17 years, our Prime Minister, he visited this Nigeria. Why? Why? What is the reason? Why our Prime Minister, he visited this? Okay, so yes, recently floods happened, so that we committed to provide around 20 tons of food grains. Okay, apart from this, global south. Okay, India is leader of global south. Next, come on, think, you can do it. Okay, why we need to have good relations with the different countries? What is the main reason? Okay, enhance your foreign policy. What happens if you are increasing relations with other countries? Is it good or bad? For what? Okay, supply chain. Okay, distribution. We can enhance our supply chains. Next, apart from this thing. Huh? Soft power. Okay, very good. Humanitarian power or soft power. Okay, next. I'll accept. Next. Who is threat to India? China. So actually, Nigeria is having a very good connection with China. See here, Nigeria currently has over 200 Chinese companies. And one more thing is, China's largest export market is present here, and Nigeria is the second largest trading partner in Africa. And even China is Nigeria's third largest export market. And even China has funded over $47 billion for 22 large size infrastructure projects. So if China is going to any country to invest in infrastructure, obviously that country will come under debt trap. So this is one of the policies which is used by China to increase its expansion. And next one here is, already Nigeria is having $27.67 billion external debt. So Chinese is providing loans to Nigeria so that it can come out of that debt for temporarily, but it will fall into this infrastructure debt with this China, so that Nigeria will be dependent on China for sure. Okay, now why China is interested in this Nigeria? For what? For resources. Which kind of resources? Can you tell me? So if you see this paragraph, Nigeria is both largest economy and as well as largest democracy in Africa. And in this Western African countries, Nigeria plays a dominant role. If we are making good relations with Nigeria, obviously what happened? These West African countries' entire group will come under the fall of the country where Nigeria is having the good relations, right? So actually even this Nigeria plays a very important role in African Union. So what is the recent development regarding African Union and G20? So in G20 we are saying that we are going to add a new member, that is African Union. Yes, will you recall that point? So for that, do India needs to play an important role, or do India needs to have the good relation with this African Union, especially Nigeria? So because of this, recently our Prime Minister, he visited this Nigeria to maintain a good relation so that we can counter China as well. Clear? So after this class, just see this paragraph. So just 4 lines here, and here Nigeria's China connection, just 5 to 10 lines here. Other than that, that is nothing much important. Clear? So you have to know like why. And can you tell me what are the MOUs and as well as agreements that we made in the recent Prime Minister visit to Nigeria? So what are things that we focused in recent visit? Come on fast. No memory. What is that agreement? First agreement, first country's agreement. So one is about terror organizations you are going for. What? So tell me which is the terror organizations which is working or which is running in this Nigeria? Boko Haram. Boko Haram. Don't ask me what is that name. I'm not the leader of that organization to say what is the motto behind that name. So actually Boko Haram is one of the Islamist counter-terrorism organization. So tell me what we discussed in this recent meet. So actually we focused on Indian weapons cooperation between these two countries regarding counter operations against Islamic group that is called as Boko Haram, which is terror organization which is running in this region. And apart from that, buying arms from India so that India will become a very important key defense supplier to Africa. So this is very important point. So if any country which is providing defense equipment, we will be maintaining a good relationship. That's what we are maintaining with India and Russia. Yes or no? So during this Indo-Pakistan war, so which country supported India? Only Russia. So because of that only one thing, we are maintaining good relations. Right? So here, because of this thing, so India wants to improve its hegemony on that region so that we can have a good pace in this West African countries and as well as African Union. Okay, revise the topic. Every topic is interconnected. If you're getting one topic today, obviously like after 15 days or 20 days, there can be some connection. So don't think that current affairs today is today. Not like that. Even today's current affairs will be useful to read current affairs after 1 week or after 10 days. There is interconnection. Okay, let us see the key points here. Our Prime Minister visit to Nigeria marks a pivotal movement in India's strategic focus on West Africa. And this visit was the first by our Indian Prime Minister to Nigeria in 17 years. And in this visit, they focused on enhancing ties with Nigeria across different sectors like defense and as well as energy and technology. Because Nigeria is Africa's largest economy and as well as largest democracy. So one more thing here you have to observe here is whenever any country which is going to, like India is going to any other country, that will be for sure democratic country. So India will not go for any communist country like that. So democracy country will be having the pro. Okay, and even Nigeria is the largest democratic country, and we want to strengthen the partnership, which is very much crucial for India in countering even China's growing influence in this region. Okay, so first one here is our Prime Minister visit. It says about the importance of India and its relationship with Nigeria, and we want to strengthen ties across different sectors so that we can have a counterbalance of this Chinese influence in this region. And even we are going for security and as well as defense equipments, everything, so that we can counter terrorism. So terrorism is a common problem of this Nigeria and as well as India. So in India, there are many terror organizations of Pakistan based they are working on. So the same way Boko Haram is one of the Islamist organization which is working there. So the common problem of India and Nigeria is counterterrorism. So in that area also they will be focusing on. And this one here is they're also focusing on economic cooperation, like they're focusing on capacity building programs. And next one is they want to counter this Chinese investments in this Nigeria. And next one here is technological advancements. So as you all know that African countries are developed or least developed. The least developed countries. They need obviously technology. So as a leader of Global South, we are also going to provide some technological advancements or innovations to these countries so that we can address the problems of these countries together. And even we are having a very long-term vision regarding engagement with these African countries. Okay, we have to improve the strengthening of relations so that we can also get access to the resources, because African countries are very rich in resources. Okay, see here we have Nigeria, and which countries are sharing boundary with Nigeria? Benin, Niger, Chad and Cameroon. Here we are having a lake that is called as Lake Chad. So I will be getting a question like, so which of the following lake which borders Nigeria with another country, that is Lake Chad. And here you have to see which are the rivers which are present in this Nigeria. And actually it is a coastal country. Can you see that? So whenever Chinese, they are providing investments, they will be seeing the location also, whether that country is having boundary with the water or not. Because if they are investing in the landlocked country, it will be not having any advantage. They cannot establish any bases there. So for increasing of its presence in Indo-Pacific region and as well as Atlantic Ocean region, they need to have the good relations with the countries to sharing boundary with water. So Nigeria is such a country which is strategically very, very important. Okay, so these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class and please do share this class to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IS Academy.